Welcome to RetailOps. My name's Quan, and I work in the Customer Relations Department at GoodTech. I'm here to show you how to work with our RetailOps software to best benefit your business. In this video, we'll go over the purchase order creation process in RetailOps. This will be a basic workflow for the manual creation of an inline purchase order. Please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see workflows for more automated ordering tools, including just-in-time, dropship, and velocity-based reorder points. Now let's jump into RetailOps and go ahead and create the PO. To create the PO, just go to your navigation menu on the left-hand side. Under Purchasing, go to PO Create. Now to create the PO, you just need to enter two pieces of information at first. That's going to be type and vendor. Type, you can select from bulk stock, closeout inline. We're going to select inline, that's the most common type. And the vendor for this PO, we're going to use Creative Cloth. Just start typing Creative, and I'll select from the pop-up. Now, a few things happen here. First of all, there's a box here. This is where you'll be adding your items, but we'll come back to that later. There's an event log here. There's an event that you just created the PO along with the timestamp. And then another indication that the PO has been created is that it has been assigned a number. This is PO 8. Now let's go to some of the fields that just populated right now. Of course, there's buyer. That's pretty self-explanatory. That's the person who is buying the PO. This will default to you, but you can select anyone from your organization if you would like. Next up, there's discount. Terms as in payment terms and method as in payment method. These are vendor level defaults that come from over here. If you go to the vendor menu for Creative Cloth, which I opened up already, you'll see that the default terms for Creative Cloth are on receipt. Default method is wire transfer, and there's 0% default discount. And you'll see that payment terms on receipt, wire transfer, 0% discount. Now, of course, these pre-populate, but you can modify these to your need, whatever is needed for this particular PO. That doesn't mess with the vendor settings, the defaults for Creative Cloth. That'll just affect the settings for this one PO. Submit date. That is the date at which you will be submitted. By default, it'll just default to the exact second that you created the PO, so that when you click the Submit PO button at the bottom, it will go ahead and submit the PO instantly. You do also have the option to schedule the PO to be submitted at some point in the future, say at the beginning of next month. And when you do that and hit the Submit PO button, RetailOps will wait until the beginning of the next month at this exact time and go ahead and submit the PO then. Ship to should be self-explanatory. You're going to select the facility to which the PO should be shipped, most relevant for retailers with multiple facilities. Start date and cancel date, you are setting the window in which the PO must arrive at your facility. So let's say there's a 2-week window between the 15th and let's say end of the month. There are vendor notes. These are vendor facing notes. And then these are internal notes. These are internal only. And when you enter this note by pushing enter on your keyboard, this will be added to your event log here. There's this checkbox for allow in-flight. We're going to go ahead and skip that for a second. Also, you can add the freight or the duties. We're going to skip that for now as well. And now let's go ahead and move on to adding items to the PO. Alright, now to add an item, go to the first blank line available, click under brand, and enter the brand. For this one, this is going to be Nike. Let's select from the drop-down. MPN stands for manufacturer part number. This is a unique code used to identify the product. This item's MPN is 345634. This is not a real MPN, just to let you know. And you can select from that exact match right here. Line description, product description, we're going to skip that for just a second. enter the total quantity you like to be ordered, enter the unit cost for the item. The unit cost is the amount you pay to the vendor for each unit of the item. So let's say for this, we got 20 at $16 a unit. And obviously, there are no Nike shoes for which you'll be paying $16 for one unit. Discount is an optional field. This lets you enter a discount for a specific line item, which differs from the discount here, which is applied to the entire order. So let's say a 5% discount for just this line item, just for kicks. And then the line total here will be automatically calculated based on the total quantity, unit cost, and discount, of course. Let's go back to line description and product description fields. Line description and product description are both optional text fields. This is typically used to specify the name of the product, which I believe is Lunar Fly in this situation. But the main idea is that this is vendor facing and this is internal only. That's the main differentiation you should make between line description and product description. All right, now this first item that we added, we were able to link to an existing product by matching the MPN right here. However, there will be times when that won't be the case. Let's try adding a second item. This one is from Crocs. And the MPN for this is 101.24. We're going to skip the total quantity and the unit cost, all that for 1 second. Notice in the drop down that there are no matches for this. So let's tab over and then go ahead and click on this icon, this little search icon here to open up the product locator. This is another search box, but this is just a little bit more robust. The main benefit is that you get to see the pictures. If you hover over the images here, you'll be able to get a blown up image so you can match the product exactly. Now the product that I happen to have in my hands right now, that happens to be a Crocs Santa Cruz, just in a different color. That's why there's a slightly different MPN as opposed to 101.28. This is 101.24. So that's my match. I can go ahead and click on that. And that'll associate that product with this product here. This is the product page for Santa Cruz. But we'll come back to that later. Go ahead and close that out here. And then let's go back and add some quantity to here. Let's say got 16 units at $20 a piece now. But no discount here. Now, as the PO stands, you can submit it without issue. However, in many cases, it would be beneficial to create columns for different item variants. Both items here are pairs of shoes, and they come in several different sizes. If you just specify that you want 20 units of this pair of Nike shoes, the vendor might look at you kind of crazy and wonder, why don't you tell me what sizes you want? So this right here, as it stands, isn't completely helpful. You'll want to add a column so you can specify different quantities for each size. Now let's just say for this, for the sake of example, that both these pairs of shoes come in sizes 8 through 12. We're going to create columns for each of those sizes. We're going to skip the half sizes just for now to make things a little bit easier on ourselves. So let's go ahead and add in columns here: 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and of course I'm entering it in the field that says columns. Tab over. And there you go. Now you got columns for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's start putting in sizes for each of these. Or let's start putting in quantities for each of these sizes. Here. All right. Now, instead of having 20 units of these Nike shoes, 20 non-script units, now you have 4 size 8s, 4 size 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s. And of course, they don't all have to be the same like that. You can switch it up just a little bit. So for the Crocs, you can go 3 of these, 4 of these, let's say 6 size 10s, 4 more of these, and 3 of these, and I'll make it 20. Of course, this was 16 before, but the total quantity will auto calculate based on the different columns you just created for the sizes. And of course, the total will recalculate if needed based on those quantities as well. Now, after you finish adding items, you can send it to the vendor by pressing the Submit PO button at the bottom. Once you do so, the vendor will receive a PDF of the PO. You can view the PDF yourself by pressing the View PDF button. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. And this is what your vendor will see. PO details up top, some vendor-facing notes, your line items here. And then if you scroll to the bottom of your purchase order, appended at the end is your routing guide for your vendor to give them instructions on how to deliver the purchase order to you. So that's a quick overview of the inline PO creation process in RetailOps. Join us again as we jump into more automated ordering tools such as just-in-time and dropship.